Happy Sunday. Don't know if you can even hear me. Hello. Are we live? It's been 2 weeks. 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
3 weeks since we've been live here at Rhythmia. We are at Roots Juice Bar here at Rhythmia in very warm and very sunny Costa Rica. You already showed the palm and the beautiful, I mean, I don't really want to do any work. I just want to go lie by the pool. It's such a beautiful summer day here, post-holiday. Let me call up the Facebook on the computer. We were just in a bit of a staff meeting, so I'm running a little bit behind schedule. So we'll see who's tuning in. Who's tuning in this afternoon? How's the internet connection, Kenneth? It seemed like it's staying connected okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. There we go. Rhythmia is now live. Who's watching? Dun, 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 dun. So this week at Rhythmia is super exciting. We have Dr. Joseph McCrolla joining us. He's going to be here this week doing a couple of workshops, so I'm very excited about that. This will be Dr. McCrolla's second time here. So this is going to be a really great week. We've got almost a full house with guests, which is kind of the norm these days. Okay, there we go. I'm up and running. What smells like it's burning? Nothing. We're safe. We're good. Who we got? We got Raquel watching. See, she's saying hello. Jody's saying hello. Missed you guys. Yes, I missed doing this too. 3 weeks off was nice, but I really missed doing these live. Lisa's saying, oh, Rhythmia, how I miss you. Mary's watching. Hey, what's cooking, sweetie? Happy New Year, says Chris. Wayne is saying hello. Pool does look nice. I want to jump in there myself right now. What is cooking? That's a good question. Brownies. I have been getting so many requests lately for our gluten-free brownie recipe. And I will tell you that they are going into, this recipe will be coming into the, what am I doing? I'm trying to get organized here. It's going to be in the upcoming Miracle Meals 2.0, which is, sorry, I'm still getting organized as I'm talking, which is going to be the newest Rhythmia cookbook. So I've been just really started working on that really hard in the last few weeks. I've been working on it for several months. Promised it at the end of December, didn't quite get it done, so I'm working on it for the end of January to be finished and sent off to the design work and publishers. We're doing a full photo shoot for the recipes on, I think, January 19th. So once I have all of that stuff put together and send it off to the design team, hopefully mid-February, we'll have an e-version of that. Sorry, I'm so disorganized right now. That'll be, so it's Miracle Meals 2.0, sauces and sweets. So that, mostly what I get requests from people for is the various sauces, including the Miracle sauce, as well as the sweet desserts, because I got a bunch of new desserts on the menu that weren't on the menu back when I wrote the book in 2017, Miracle Meals, the first version. So that's happening. So we're doing the Brownie Bliss today, and we're also going to be making another little, well, it's kind of like peanut butter chocolate theme. So we're doing the brownies, but we're gonna make a little peanut butter frosting for it. And then we're doing another peanut butter chocolate dessert, one of my favorite things in the world that I told Jerry about. He's already let me know he'll be back in the next half hour to pick up his snack. So that's what's going on. Again, anyone, Raquel is saying hello, Kenneth.
Hi, Raquel.
Anyone that's watching, let me know where you're watching from. I really, I love seeing from all corners of the earth where people are tuning in. And if there's anyone that you think might appreciate a little bit of chocolate food love, or to get to know myself or any of the other Rhythmia Facebook Live team members, Jeff, Christian, Jerry, myself, Candice, she often fills in for Jerry, please share these videos, because I just want to get the word out about what we're doing here at Rhythmia, and that we are all real normal people. Normal, I use that term loosely. Where's my mom? My mom's not watching yet. She hasn't tuned in. Mom usually watches every week now. Okay, so we got Claudia saying, hey, lovey, nice to see you, Claudia. See you soon. Are you coming back, Claudia? We'd love to see you. Mel is saying hello. Kristen saying from Ottawa, Canada, represent. Jody is watching from Ohio in the US. Hartley's watching from Dallas, Texas. Mel Haven is watching from Albuquerque. Raquel is saying, don't I say this wrong every time? Arcata, California. In Humboldt County. I can get the Humboldt. Oh, good Lord. Okay, I'm going to put this on. Since we're working with chocolate, I'm bound to make a mess. What did I make the last time, a few weeks ago, when I chocolate and ended up with chocolate all over my shirt. Do you remember that? What was that? Icing for something, wasn't it? It wasn't donuts.
Donuts, yes.
Was it donuts or
Yeah.
was it the
No,
Christmas one?
no, donuts.
Was it donuts?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Where's my bevy? Gonna have a little slurp. So, brownies, baking. My ex-husband and I owned a bakery here in Costa Rica. We did a lot of gluten-free stuff. We had a gluten-free brownie recipe. We had a gluten-free double chocolate cookie recipe. We had a vegan gluten-free coconut sugar cookie recipe. We did gluten-free bread. We did a lot of gluten-free recipes that we offered. And most of them, as far as I'm concerned, as far as our clients were concerned, didn't taste gluten-free. I don't know about a lot of you guys, but going gluten-free tends to mean going bland, crumbly. Well, it used to anyway. There's a lot of new great innovations. And the biggest thing that I found that's helped, in particular, is the certain type of flour that you use. And here at Rhythmia, we have this amazing, it's just flour, I don't know why I'm showing you, but we have this amazing gluten-free flour blend that we use that is produced locally. I think it's a Costa Rican provider, right, that created it.
Correct.
And it's a combination of rice, which is typical because it's gluten-free, chickpea or garbanzo flour, which is high in protein and gluten-free and delicious, and yuca root flour or cassava root, which I forgot. I wanted to bring out a cassava to show you guys what that vegetable looks like, but it is you've probably seen it. I've talked about it in a few Facebook Lives. I think I've done yuca French fries with chipotle mayonnaise once. I think we talked about yuca in the Investigating the Ingredients Facebook Live we did a while back. But it's it's like, you see it in the South American section of the grocery store, the produce aisle. So usually with long vegetable, it's got a brown waxy skin on the outside and it's super hard. Like you need like a really strong knife to get into it. And the inside is like a white, super dense starch. And you need to almost double cook it to get it to a texture where you can use it. Usually boiling it and then frying it, pureeing it, or doing it, making it into whatever you make it into. And I think it's the yuca flour that really gives our gluten-free brownies, which are right over here. If you want to just shoot that real quick. It gives it a really dense fudge-like texture because a lot of the other gluten-free flours are quite crumbly and floury, but the yuca is dense and it's almost luxurious in texture. So that's what I'm really happy about here. So talking about baking, let's just see. Whoa! I just popped free. My pants are getting a little bit tight, guys, and I'm gonna blame it on the holidays. I just popped my apron. Let's see, does anyone have anything special to say? I mean, everything that anyone says is special. Wayne is watching from Farmington. Mary's watching from California. Arcata. Raquel's correcting my mispronunciation as per usual. Arcata. Raquel's saying, yucca root, yummy. Asan is saying, hey, how are you? Nice to see you, Asan. I feel like I haven't seen you watching in a while. Okay, I'm going to double bowl this. Back to the task at hand, baking. I never really took baking seriously until I bought this bakery. I no longer own it. My ex-husband has it. But I never really took it seriously. And I would always just freestyle and wonder why my baked goods never really turned out. And baking, unlike just cooking, is a bit more of a science. And there's a lot of science involved in making sure that we're leavening your ingredients right. If it's anything with yeast, dealing with that. And measurements are a bit more important because of that. So, what I think is really important is to invest in, if you're gonna do a lot of baking. You guys have seen, if you've been watching, I have my fancy new KitchenAid mixer. When I went out and bought my fancy new kitchen scale in a nice white finish, just like my KitchenAid, so that I could, be serious about my baking at home. So this is a great little food scale that I have. And the beautiful thing about scales like this is you turn it on and you can set your scale. So typical weight scales, if this were a human body scale, you would step on it from 0 and it would tell you how much you weigh. But the beauty of a scale like this is I can take it. I don't know if you can see this. So if I hit this on button and then I hit 0, it's going to set. Can you see that? That it says 0? Mm-hmm. Then I'm going to put this bowl on here. I have an empty bowl? Yes. I'm going to take this empty bowl and I'm going to place it on there. And it's saying that's 336 grams. But if I want to use this bowl for measuring out my ingredients, what I need to do here is I hit this button here, 0, and it's going to 0. Oops, I turned it off. Got distracted. I can just hit 0. I'm going to try that again. So there's my 0. I put the bowl on. It's measuring at 335 now. Interesting. If I hit 0, now it's going back down to 0. So it's not registering the weight of this bowl. So now anything I put into this bowl, let's do it for fun, will be an accurate weight of, like this is sugar, for example. So I'm putting in sugar and it's weighing just the sugar amount without including the weight of the bowl. So I've got 44 grams of sugar in there. Does that make sense? So these why these little scales are super handy dandy for when you're baking. And if you're doing a big recipe that had a bunch of dry ingredients, what you could do is I could put my sugar in there, which is 45 grams. I can hit 0, and then I can throw in, you know, pretend this is a different ingredient. I'm adding in my flour now. I can weigh in my flour. If I needed 36 grams of flour, then I got my 36 grams of flour in. I hit 0. Then I can add in my next ingredient on top, on top, on top. And it just saves a lot of measuring cups, it saves a lot of dirty dishes, and I'm all about lazy in the kitchen, all right? So I just wanted to show you guys that today because it's a neat little tool to have if you're getting serious about baking and you're lazy and you don't want to do so many dishes. Like me. So I've already gone ahead and measured the ingredients today, so I'm just gonna set this aside. Just wanted to show you guys that. Love, love, love. Sven is watching. Perfect. Okay. So what have I got going on here so far? I have here in a double boiler, which we've talked about many times before, some dark chocolate, and I've just used my favorite old dark chocolate. So we're getting to the gluten-free brownie recipe here, and I will be posting this not in the comments. You're gonna have to write it down or buy my book or email me and I'll email it to you. So it's 250 grams of your favorite dark chocolate. So we've just gone ahead and melted it down here. Perfect, perfect, perfect. The next ingredient is our butter. So I'm adding in 250 grams of butter. So we've weighed that. These are, I said they were gluten-free. I did not say they were vegan. You could try doing this with like a vegan butter, but I also have eggs in the recipe. So you can try it with egg substitute and see how it goes. If you decide you want to do that at home, let me know. I would love to hear how it goes. So this butter is already pretty soft because it's hot out here. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to stir that butter in with my chocolate. Delicious. And again, the double boiler, if you've forgotten or if you're not aware, is just the idea of anytime you're melting chocolate, you don't want to put the chocolate over direct heat. Like I wouldn't put the chocolate directly into a pot on my cooktop because that would probably burn my chocolate pretty quick. So all I've got here is I've got this pot with water in it. Just go at a low simmer with my metal bowl, or you could use a glass bowl sitting on top, and it's actually the steam from the water that is melting the chocolate in the butter. So we're just letting that steam, steam, steam. And I just want to mix this up so that, you know, the chunks of the butter are well incorporated. Look at how beautiful and glistening soft that is already. And I'm not going to go too crazy, so I'm going to take this off the heat and let it cool a little bit, and the butter's just going to continue to melt. We all know how quickly butter melts as soon as you put it into contact with anything hot. So that's good enough for TV, as we say. I'm going to take this off the heat because I want to let this cool a little bit. I'm actually going to, because it's so hot here, I'm actually just going to put it in one of my little refrigerators for a moment so it can start to cool down here. Do I have 3 fridges here? No, just 2. Using all the things today. Whoop, whoop. Excuse me a moment. Bye. Got my other recipe down here. I think it's not color, so we're gonna have to just keep it out. Pura vida, as they say. Woo! This is live. This is not pre-recorded. Obviously. Okay. Whew. So, the next thing we want to do is mix a couple of our other ingredients here. This is for our next recipe, so don't look at that yet. So then I got in here another bowl and a whisk, and I'm going to add my next few ingredients. My next ingredients are going to be the sugar. So I need 250 grams of sugar. Again, already measured out using my kitchen scale. And this is you'll see it's super crudo. It's sucra. It's a raw cane sugar, so it's actually quite dense in texture, and I kind of like this texture in the brownies because it almost gives a bit of a crystalline whenever the sugar doesn't fully dissolve. It's quite nice. Adding in some cinnamon, and it's 5 grams of cinnamon. This is a little bit more than that, so I'm just gonna do a bit of that. Some vanilla. I think it's a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons. And I always put vanilla in with all my chocolate recipes. It may seem counterintuitive, but that's something I learned very early on in my cooking. Out of breath. Cardio. My cooking cardio is no good these days. I'm running out of breath from bending over. Again, I blame the holidays. Okay, so 4 eggs. So, and this is another great trick. Always when you're cracking eggs, never just crack right into your bowl where all your other ingredients are. Because if you get a bunch of shell, then I would be digging through all of this sugar and all of that stuff for the shell, and we don't want to deal with that. So I always crack my eggs one at a time into a bowl. Look at that, clean, no shell. Then dump my eggs in one at a time. Aren't I just full of tips and tricks? Well, I just got a little bit of shell in that bowl, so I don't want to... I could already see. 2 eggs. I'm nervous cracking eggs with an audience. I'm not used to it. 4 eggs. There's our 4 eggs. Dunsky. Just like that. Give my hand a little rinse. Just to be safe. This shirt doesn't translate very well on camera, does it, with my apron? It's kind of ridiculous. My mom probably hates it. My mom doesn't like these shirts that have the cutout arms. Sorry, Mom. Okay. So now we're just gonna whisk this all together here. This is where your muscles come in. You wanna get a close-up of this, Kenneth? Of the food, not me. Okay. So there we go.
The big cooking is famous around the world. Here, the more beautiful on Spain cooking and the chef. And now for the United States, the beautiful. No, I don't want nobody to be.
This is my announcer here. We're live on Facebook right now.
Okay. Oh, really? Sorry.
Didn't tell him. He likes to be, he does these amazing announcing introductions for me all the time. And now we've got the most amazing chef in all the world. I'm sure you've heard him. It's amazing. I haven't seen him in ages. Does he work for his security, like in Panini now? Okay. Sorry, Kenneth and I are just having a little conversation. Okay, so this is enough for now. So now all I need to do is I'm going to set this aside for a moment while I head back down into my refrigerator and grab my slightly cooled. And the reason I wanted this to be slightly cooled is because we don't want to scramble our eggs. So we have these eggs. We want to temper it a little bit. Then I'm going to add my eggs into my chocolate. Keep whisking. Just get it nice and incorporated. We need it, and yeah, so if your chocolate was still too hot, we would end up with an egg scramble. And no one wants an egg scramble. And then the last ingredient is that flour that I spoke of. So I'm just going to use, I could use my stand mixer for this. I was thinking about bringing my stand mixer and showing you guys how to do it there. But most people don't have a stand mixer at home, so I'm doing it with my muscles. And because I was lazy on the holidays and apparently put on some weight, so I'm going to do a little bit of a workout when I'm making my fatty brownies. Okay, so we got our flour. Like I said, it's the rice garbanzo and yuca, and I'm just going to start adding it in bit by bit, incorporating it. You know what I didn't bring? I didn't bring a vessel to actually put this into bake, but you guys get the drift. It's going to look just like a cake batter. There we go. So yummy. Now, if this was the holidays, what I would do is I would, break up some peppermint candies or some candy canes and incorporate them right in. Another thing you could do is you could chop up into little cubes or chocolate chips, your favorite chocolate. Incorporate those whole into here, so when you have your brownie, it's soft and fudgy and cooked, and then you get big morsels of like chocolate chips all throughout. Would be really good. Oh, we did this. We did a version of this with peppermint. Did we do this recipe already? We did brownies at Christmas, didn't we?
Yeah, I did it.
Did we do this recipe?
No, different. You make with the candies and...
But was it the gluten-free brownie recipe?
No. No.
That'd be funny if we did. Oh well.
Only chocolate and
to look back on that. Because I just realized, I'm like, I did peppermint something at Christmas. At any rate, there's lots of different things you can do in here. But what we're gonna do, so what you do, by the way, is you take this and you put it into a parchment paper lined 9x9 baking pan and bake it. 350 degrees, like half an hour, and you'd have this beautiful fudgy brownie like those ones right there. And for our little different version today, we're gonna make a frosting. Because I don't know about you guys, but my favorite combination in the world when it comes to sweets, and I don't have a big sweet tooth, I've shared with you guys in the past, my favorite sweet combination is peanut butter and chocolate. Can I get a hallelujah on that? Woo woo! Can I get a here? Let's have a quick look here. Bruno's watching. Hey Bruno. Craig Malone's watching from Australia. Amazing. Okay. I'm gonna just put this in the refrigerator again. And we're gonna get to making a frosting. And it's really simple. And this one I'm gonna use my food processor for. Grab my ingredients. Super simple. I know we've made frostings on the show in the past and they've been big epic fails because it's too hot. But we're gonna do it again today. Just so you'll see the recipe, and if you're not living where it's plus 30 degrees in the sunshine or in the shade, it'll work. So what I've got here is I've got half a cup of all natural peanut butter. I'm gonna toss this half a cup of peanut butter into the base of my food processor with my S-Blade. Then I've got a half a cup of butter. And this one you could definitely swap out a vegan butter if you want. That would work just fine. If you want to go for a vegan icing that you want to use on different, not like more vegan recipes, gluten-free browners clearly or not. A little bit of vanilla. And some sea salt. I love salt with my sweet, so I was a little bit generous with that. And I'm just going to start to blend this up a little bit. There we go. Just enough to start to combine. I'm going to have a spoon. I'm going to actually use a knife. I'm going to scrape down the sides a little bit here. And then, as with any good icing, we're talking about icing, we're talking about sweets. We're not mincing words here. We're doing real sweets. I've got icing sugar. I know a lot of people have big issue with sugar, but if I'm doing a proper dessert, I'm going to use sugar. Sorry, kids. This is 2.5, so I've got 2.5. So a half a cup of peanut butter, a half a cup of butter, and 2.5 cups of icing sugar. Look at that. Woo, woo. And I'm just going to pulse this together. So much fun. Got a little bit of a scrape down. See, I was very cautiously blending there because I didn't want it to become to like a big messy puree too fast, but I think we can be a bit more aggressive. Okay, so come see this texture right now. It smells delicious. It smells like the center of a famous chocolate peanut butter cup. It's a little bit crumbly. So what I've got here is I've got some almond milk that I'm gonna add in, and I'm gonna add that in as it blends, just a little bit at a time to help cream it up. So yummy. Scrape down the sides again. Smells delicious. One more quick little go on that. And that'll do for now. Make a nice mucky icing on your brownie. I blended it a little bit too far, so it broke a little bit. And then a little bit of chocolate sprinkles and some peanuts. Come on! Rustically delicious. Dun dun dun. Why are you laughing, Kenneth?
Because it looks very delicious.
It looks like a little 4-year-old made it. Peanut butter and chocolate, my friends. Okay, so real quick before we wrap it up for the day, I want to show one real quick recipe. Something that I've been making when I was, used to do private retreats and stuff like that all the time, and that is here, let me take that for a second. Look at this. It is a homemade version of a peanut butter cup. This is a finished product. I'm going to show you guys. It's been sitting out, so it's a little bit soft. And look at this. You're going to have to get a close-up of it when I cut into this, Kenneth. Look at that. Chocolatey goodness. Yum. Oh. So this is like the easiest recipe in the world, and I make it and it wows people all the time. Heather says, Chef, you always make me smile. Because I'm goofy. So this is, come on. Is there anything better in the world than chocolate peanut butter? I don't think so. So I'm going to put this back in the fridge, but I'm going to show you how really quick to make this. Because Kenneth, you're going to eat this afterwards, but it needs to be nice and cold. I got 2 more in the fridge here. Okay, so real quick lesson. So what I've got here is in this double boiler once again here. All this is my favorite dark chocolate, and I had 2 different ones today. I don't know where the label went for my other one, but I have a 70% Himalayan rock salt. Like, it's just a chocolate bar that I eat out of hand. It's one of my favorites. And I also, this was a 70% dark. And I also had a 100%. I'm littering. A 100% dark chocolate. And, geez Louise, so windy. So all I've done is I've melted it down here. And these 2 are at the halfway point. So what I've done is I took 1 scoop of chocolate and put it into the bottom of these little cupcake liners. And then I put the whole unit into the refrigerator or the freezer to let that harden, so that chocolate is nice and hard. And then the next thing I do is I've got this combination here of, what I have here is a combination of homemade almond butter, homemade peanut butter, a tiny bit of honey, you could use maple syrup, sea salt, and vanilla. And then all I need to do is take a couple little spoons here and make a little, just a little roundish piece of peanut butter goodness. And then you place that in the middle of, can you see that, Kenneth? Perfect. And you can do your filling as high or as thick as you want, but you see that it's sitting on top of that chocolate now. And all I need to do now is take a bit more of this warm melted chocolate, pour it on top, and again, any chocolate of your choice. You could do the filling with like pumpkin seed butter, sunflower seed butter, any butter that you want. And then you just put that back in the fridge or the freezer and let it set. That's all there is to it. And it looks clearly homemade. You can customize all the flavors and everything to your own personal liking. And it just makes a really pretty presentation. You can get some really fancy cupcake liners to use. And then as you saw, like when you take it out of the cupcake liner, it gives that classic peanut butter cup ridging on the outside. And then you could put some extra sea salt on top. Yeah. A little bit extra sea salt. So you can put some chocolate sprinkles on top. You can put some peanuts so that people know what's inside even. How fun is that? And then plop that in your freezer, and you just keep it in your freezer until you're ready to serve it. And then you just serve it cool. So that are my 2 most favorite chocolate peanut butter recipes. It's quite simple, if you ask me. I almost said super simple, but I'm trying not to say super so much. And that's all I have today. Anything going on over here? Oh, there's my mom. Hello, Meg. You look good, she says. I don't know if you were watching earlier, Mom, but I said that you don't like this type of shirt with the cutout shoulders, so sorry about that. Okay, perfect. So, guys, that's all I have to say. It's only 2:32. I'm wrapping up the earliest that I've ever wrapped up a Facebook Live ever, I think, when it came to cooking. Let's see what's going on next Sunday. Next Sunday, oh, should be an interesting one. Got gnocchi? We're making gnocchi. I haven't made gnocchi in years. I don't think I've made gnocchi since I did my plant-based chef certification course. That'll be interesting. We'll probably do a couple different kinds. We'll probably do a traditional gnocchi. We'll probably do something like a sweet potato gnocchi or a gluten-free version without flour. We'll see. Maybe we'll make some sauces to go along with it. Not really sure, but that's next week. So we hope to see you guys. If you have any suggestions or ideas about what you want to see on any upcoming Facebook Lives, shoot me a message in the comments. Been doing this for well over a year now, and let's be frank, I'm running out of ideas. So tell me what you want to see. That is that, my friends. Kenneth and I are going to eat some chocolate and drink some coffee. It's almost 3 p.m. Coffee and chocolate time, right?
Yes.
Mid-afternoon slump. Give us a little energy kick.
I feel so tired for that. Oh my goodness.
So hot, so this is going to be our little wake up. Until then, guys, have a beautiful week. Have a beautiful second week of January already. Happy New Year. And if you've stuck yourself with the resolution, don't be hard on yourself if it doesn't stick. Just intend to take good care of yourself and love yourself no matter what choices you make. And that's, I believe, the best thing that we can do for ourselves. Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys next week. Mwah.
Love you all. Bye bye.